I'm Chris Hayes, and thanks to Healthy Wexford, we're going to visit some of the many groups around Wexford involved in community growing of varying types. This Seeds to Success series will visit newly established gardens and ones that have been around for a long time. Come with us and discover these gems on your doorstep and be inspired for your own community. From the very south of the model county, we are heading to the north of the county, Askamore, a community garden that owes its existence to a family who used to make hats.
400 metres, you will arrive at your destination.
When I first talked to the gardener here in Askamore, she said, now when you pull into the village, Chris, don't be distracted by the view. Well, how couldn't you be? Let's go up and see Jackie. Jackie, you're hard at work from the moment I come up to Askamore. Can you tell me?
Deadheading.
What are you doing?
Deadheading.
Okay.
If you don't deadhead, then they'll start turning into seed instead.
Okay.
And all the energy goes into the seed, but as long as you take the deadheads off, they'll keep flowering.
Okay, so this is why the walk up into the community garden is so pretty.
Yes.
It's very inviting. The story goes that there was a local labourer working for a Mr. Kidd who had a hat factory, and he found a bit of a hammer, and he said to Mr. Kidd, I found this bit of a hammer down in the far field. And Mr. Kidd went off to investigate, and he found a load of gold coins. And with some of that money, he purchased a new farm in Askamore. This field was on that farm. He also developed a mill, and in the middle of the labyrinth that you can walk around and engage in your meditative practice, once you get to the end, is the millstone from Mr. Kidd's factory.
There's a big difference between a maze and a labyrinth. A labyrinth is much more spiritual insofar as there's one way in and one way out. There's no confusion in it. The path is quite clear. We have a group here that is called Qigong. It's a walking, a moving meditation. But the park itself was always designed to be pressure-free.
You're maybe fitter than me, Jackie. You got around a lot quicker. Now, I was distracted by everything that's so beautiful. But you said when I came in, the throne was the place to sit to get a full view of it in all its splendour. This is fantastic. It really is.
You couldn't buy it.
I can see why you gave up Dublin for
Oh,
Askamore.
look. It doesn't matter where you go around here, the scenery is just captivating and you just can't stop looking.
Yeah. Now, I've asked you to sit down, Jackie, but you don't strike me as the kind of person that sits down very often when you're here.
Well, I do have my magic chair there. Turn it one way and it's a kneeler, and turn it up and it's a chair. So every gardener should have one.
While Jackie's stool is an essential part of her gardening kit, there are other essential players in the success story of Askamore.
My name is Geraldine Burney, and I'm working in the community centre and the park as part of the Wexford Local Development. I'm up here doing the forms, but when the strawberries come out and the raspberries come out and there's something nice to be had in the tunnel, my presence is felt down here, yes.
Absolutely.
I also collect the donations. We have a donation box there to come in, hoping that people who use the park will put a donation in towards the upkeep of the park and insurance and what have you. But I collect that money every week, and that goes to the community council. It's a great pleasure to come here, and you're there sort of collecting money, and sort of you feel, oh, I'm doing my job. But then you look up in the park and you see the kids playing, and you hear them laughing and screaming, and you see the mums and dads maybe going for a walk or sitting at the picnic benches having their lunch. So it is very gratifying that way. And to know that you're a little part of the joy that people are getting from the park.
First of all, you're in a group and you learn what the strengths of that group are. And, if you can bring them out of their shell and get them to express it, in the likes of the park and whatever, well and good. And it's a win-win situation all round.
Hi, I'm Helen Carney. I'm the chairperson of Askamore Community Council. I can't take any credit for the park. I don't. Jackie is involved. Jackie runs everything. She's brilliant, and we would be lost without her in Askamore. We really would. She coordinates with the guys who work here, the likes of Paul there. She coordinates with their boss, Pat Lacey, and organises then people to come in and help her out and that kind of thing. Really what we help Jackie with as Community Council is we raise funds for her, we apply for grants for her, but Jackie is absolutely the driving force behind us. So
Helen has very practical advice on how to get a community garden up and running in your own locality.
the first thing they have to do is their community council is absolutely key. You need to have like-minded people and people who are willing to help out, people who are willing to get involved, put in a bit of work if needed, whether that be phone calls, whether it be applying for grants. There needs to be some kind of a togetherness. You really do need local people to help out. Then you need somebody who is willing to take on the running and the organisation of the park or the community garden. They need a Jackie.
We have our own wells, so we have a drinking water supply here.
So people can fill their own bottles.
Bring their bottles rather than bringing disposables.
Yes.
Well, there's plenty of farmers around, so there's always somebody to ask, and that's the beauty. You have to keep asking.
And the sheep, is there much feeding on the sheep?
It's amazing what your local artists can come up with.
There's no doubt the beauty that we have here in rural Ireland, and Askamore is just like a fantastic example of that, the rolling landscape. But one of the issues that we do come across in rural Ireland is the idea of isolation. But community gardens have a really important part to play in getting people from the local community involved in what's going on.
First arrive here, they ask you if they have a coffee morning. Usually it's every Tuesday, first Tuesday in the month, isn't it? And like I said, it's just to meet everyone. But they come and invited us straight away, so you got to meet all the people, especially of like your age group, because most of the people in the daytime have retired.
Just sitting up here in the evening time and looking out there, and it's so silent, so peaceful. After all the years of working and always stressed, it's just another world. There's nowhere else I'd rather be now at this moment in time.
One of the great things, of course, about community gardens is that you don't have to be a gardener to come and enjoy it. They've even got a library in Askamore, so you can take a book, sit down and really relax.
First park in North Wexford to be given the green flag. And there aren't too many of them around. We always go into the tidy towns. One, because it gives us a great amount of money every year to splash out on what we need to do. And secondly, it gives us a standard to work to, because they give us a report at the end of the competition. And so we see where we've lost marks, and we use that to try and improve those areas next year.
With an abundance of apples at the garden, Jackie successfully secured a waste prevention grant so they could buy an apple press.
The apple press was one out. To me, that was the money most well spent. We collected all the apples in the priest's garden has apple trees. We have apple trees in here. And we made 10 litres of apple cider from our own apples. Last year, because of the lockdown, we ran a book of loaning it out. And so families got together. So it went around the community, and that's how we did it last year.
Looking to the future, and Jackie is thinking about accessibility for all.
We are very aware that children with disabilities are being kept out of the park, enjoying what the other children can enjoy. The other thing is to get a route from the outside through the park, which would be easy to manoeuvre with a wheelchair.
Thanks so much for your time today. It's
Not
really
at all.
a pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you for coming.
Askamore will be a place I'm going to stop in and not go through from now on.
Good, good, good. That's what we like, more the merrier.
Set in the beautiful hills of North County Wexford, a great can-do attitude and attention to local needs is driving Askamore towards an ever brighter future.